First of all, I'd like to thank Informa for inviting me to speak at this event. I'm really honored to be here with you today. So let me share my screen, please. Okay, so this session is about the decision metrics for hybrid project management and the sectors, companies, and nature of project where hybrid project management is applicable. So let's start with who I am. My name is Hussein Mahran. Sorry. My name is Hussein Mahran. I've been an architect and project management and sustainability professional for the past 23 years, and I'm currently heading the PMO for Naga Architects in the UAE and KSA. Since I come from the construction background or the construction industry, which is where the traditional and classical methodologies of project management have been applied for decades now, we have always been learning that there is no margin for uncertainty or improvisation during the execution of a construction project, obviously, and that every little detail must be thoroughly predefined, pre-studied, and pre-specified before the initiation of construction. Therefore, the waterfall methodology has always been perfectly efficient during construction. So I'd like to highlight this day back in 2001 when these gentlemen convened and declared the Agile Manifesto that came as a response to the needs of the newly emerging industry of software and IT. So this was the actual birth of the new trend in project management. And for a while, we lived in somehow a bipolar world where IT is adopting Agile while construction and traditional manufacturing industries were still sticking to waterfall. But with the rising levels of complexity and uncertainty in the projects, there had to be a hybrid methodology somehow that benefits from the best of both worlds. So as in this figure, it's all, in my opinion, it's all about scope, how certain and clear the requirements are. So if you are, for example, constructing a building and you have all the blueprints and construction documentation, then just go ahead, use the traditional waterfall. But if you are building a new software and still unclear about the requirements and you need to get some feedback from the stakeholders on your prototype before moving to the next step, then use Agile. And in the most common position, if you are somewhere in between, and then you just need to find a hybrid approach between the two main approaches. So the hybrid approach is based on a simple technique of benefiting from the waterfall structure by gathering and analyzing requirements initially, then the flexibility of Agile during execution with an emphasis on rapid iterations. There's of course a negative side of everything. So if the advantages of hybrid are increased flexibility and enhanced structure, there are disadvantages, of course, that are, for example, that number one, it requires some compromise, and number two, the best of both worlds approach will actually somehow rob you of the flexibility of Agile and the steadiness of waterfall. So how is hybrid approach practically applied? As a simple technique, as I mentioned before, use the traditional methodology for the rough planning and agile methodology for detailed planning. So as in this figure, the major milestones and phases of the project follow the waterfall approach, while the internal sprints or iterations will use the agile approach. Okay, so then we get something similar to this, predefined phases, and within each phase, a number of iterations take place until the incremental goal of this particular stage is approached or is reached. So now I'd like to shed some light on the PM2, which is the project management methodology developed and adopted by the European Commission, and which in my own opinion is more mature when it comes to the adaptation of agile approach and integrating it with its project lifecycle. There is an agile extension to PM2 which helps project teams achieve the desired level of agility while also maintaining, for example, tight procurement and audit requirements, also coordination with program and portfolio levels, and collaboration with other projects and other related parties in the project. Now, how about the distinction between the roles and processes between the two worlds of agile and waterfall? And how will this work in a hybrid environment? So as you can see, waterfall has a project sponsor that requests the project and is a steering committee member, and that is the one who makes decisions as necessary. There is also a project manager who deals with the stakeholders, who plans and manages and reports and communicates. And there is the team member who is the team members who are responsible for completing the work packages, who develops the deliverables on time and time completion confirmation. While in Agile, the roles are different. There is the product owner, who is the single source of requirements. He manages and prioritizes the backlog, and he is the one who communicates with the stakeholders. And there is the Scrum Master, who leads the Scrum process, ensures the team is prepared for the process, and who is the one who removes obstacles. Then there is the team that evaluates the backlog items, who allocates tasks among the team members and reports when done. Well, so in a hybrid project management environment, roles may intersect and coordinate. So, for example, a project manager can act as a project owner or a Scrum Master, as per the situation and phase of the project. Also, feedback and retrospectives also come not just from the stakeholders, but also from the team itself in Agile and also in hybrid project management environments. Well, many organizations function in an environment in which traditional processes have evolved over time, and compliance is required with board obligations and required standards. For a project, this means that there is a focus on choosing methods that clearly define the plans and project goals and require that everything is documented. So combining traditional methods for some of the sub-project with elements of the Agile methodology lets organizations take advantage of the best of both worlds to find the solution that best suited to their individual needs. This can enhance the project's benefits by, for example, achieving better results, reaching the goals faster, or minimizing expenses. So if we extend the line to see how this is affecting the governance matrix in an organization, PM2 provides the appropriate governance framework. As you can see, this figure shows how the Agile team fits into the overall PM2 project organization as related to, for example, the traditional project managers and the business managers. And all of this is also the steering committee, and all of this is based on a vertical multiple layer of governance and decision making within the same organization. Now, let's see some hybrid scenarios. So if we go back to my own realm or my own domain, which is construction. So as a design project manager, I believe that the best scenario for a design project is hybrid, because you can plan and design project with its standards, with its standard predefined phases. For instance, concept, schematic, design development, etc. Then, because design project by nature always comes with uncertainty, as you are designing a new and unique product every time. So within each phase, you go back and forth in iterations until you satisfy the requirements of the client. Uncertainty is always at its maximum at the beginning of each phase, until the client can actually see something that they can review and criticize. Then you go back to comply with the client comments until you reach the incremental goal of this particular stage, as explained earlier. So when selecting an approach for managing a certain project, let's first ask some questions. For example, how certain and clear customers' requirements are, and also how clear and how new the approach to a solution for the project is. And based on this, on the answers of these questions, we decide the approach. And by following a hybrid approach in an organization with multiple business units and the multiple vertical projects, we allow for flexibility. So having some business units use traditional approaches while others use agile ones is probably one of the most seamless and common implementations of hybrid project management. And this usually ensures high process stability. Okay, I'd like to end this session with this survey on hybrid project management that was conducted during a webinar held in April 2018, involving 257 participants. And considering that multiple answers were allowed, and that's why the numbers don't add up to 100. So the survey revealed that we are still unsure, and that several approaches are already being followed in organizations and business units, which support the main principle that it's all subjective and it depends on the industry, organization, and even on the projects. So the survey reveals that 11% of participants carried out their projects according to the defined methods of their business unit. 41% decided the method project by project. 40% chose the method based on the project situation. 41% did their high-level planning and with traditional methods and used agile ones for their detailed planning. And even 18% were still unsure. So the conclusion here is that the majority of the participants didn't follow a strict or a predefined methodology and somehow tailored their own combination of approaches depending on the situation and the nature of the project. So that's all from my side. Thank you for your attention, and questions are, of course, welcome.
Thank you very much, Hussein, for this great presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed his amazing presentation. Now,